this video, we're going to start with a clean slate and we're going to look at order by statements. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cheat just a little bit and do a select asterisk from our DBO.employees table. If I run this query, I'm going to go ahead and select it. If we look at our actual table definition, it is defined in primary key order. We would expect our results to come back in primary key order. Well, in our case, they did come back in primary key order, but it's never guaranteed that it's going to come back in primary key order. Just because our index is tracking things and keeping track of things based on our primary key order of the employee ID, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that we're going to be returning our results in that particular order. In order to ensure that we have a consistent order of information being returned, we use the order by statement to order our data that's being returned. If I go ahead and I enter an order by last name, this is going to return the results in ascending order, similar to like if we were looking through a phone book, we would see the information returned. If I'm going to go ahead and run this, I can see that it's going to return the information in order by that last name. Now, in some cases, I have a combination of fields that I want to use to order my data. I can do that. If I decide that I want to go ahead and return data in hire date order descending because I'm interested in who was hired last, and I want to keep track of the groupings of people. I want to make sure that if I have a date that is the same for a couple employees that I'm ordering within that particular date, those people in last name order. I can specify a combination of order by conditions, and I'm going to start with hire date. This is going to be a descending. And then I'm going to use my ascending for my last. I can go ahead and I can run this. I can see here that as I filter down here in the list, I come to this 1993, 10/17, and I have two people that were hired on that same date. Sure enough, they are in order by last name within that date range by last name. Now, if I decide that I need to potentially use some type of an alias in my order by condition and not use the names, I need to specify my columns here. Maybe I'm going to just use my employee ID, and then I'm going to do a combination of maybe last name. Then I'm going to add to that a quote, comma, space, and then I'm going to add to that my first name. This is going to be my full name. I'm going to return the hire date and maybe the city. Just a few fields there. Now I can still descendingly order the hire date. In this case, I'm going to change the field that I'm going to sort by to my full name. When I go ahead and put that in my statement, I can still run that. And it's pretty much going to return the data that I would expect. If I look at 10/17, I still see that order of those employees. Now, the last way that I can look at my data here is I can go through, and if I have a number of fields in my query, I can specify that I want them ordered by number. If I start counting here, my employee ID is number 1, my full name is number 2. If I change my full name to the number 2, and then I change my hire date, which is the third field, to number 3, I can rerun this query and I should get the exact same results. This is another option that you can use for running your queries. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this option if you have a large column list. You're going to force people to count the columns to determine what we're actually ordering by. It's always better to be more explicit than less explicit. Now, if we switch over to SQL Developer, for this select statement, we want to reference our order table. Our orders table, if we right-click, we should be able to select the edit function, and it's going to give us an indication of the columns within this, their data types, and then also whether it's null or not null. One of the things that we can see here is that our order underscore TMS is a timestamp. So that's going to have a date component that we can pull out and use in our query. Let's go ahead and write the query. We're going to start with select, and this is going to be order ID. I'm just going to go ahead and use all the fields. Then I want to only retrieve the date portion of that timestamp. I can use the trunc function specifying the order TMS of the field that I want to use that has that timestamp, and then I indicate the parameter DD, which is telling it that I only want the date portion of that timestamp to be returned. I'm going to alias this as order date. Then I have my customer ID, followed by my order status, and then my store ID. And this is going to be from orders. Then I can go ahead and specify my order by. And I want to order by my store ID. And I don't want that in ascending order, but then I want to order by the order date within that store ID in descending order. I'm going to specify the descending order there and execute this query. And I can see that I have my store ID, which is over here, being returned, and that within this, I have it being returned in descending order for the date within that store ID. I can scroll through the dates. So eventually it'll change store ID. We can see there we have some store IDs. It's going up for our store ID, so it's ascending, but then our dates are in descending order. That works all right. Then I can go ahead and say, oh, I really want to use the numbers to see if that works in Oracle. For our date, that's going to be the second parameter, and our store ID is going to be the fifth parameter. If I change that out and run it, it essentially is going to do the same thing. I can see that it's in order by store ID. I can scroll through and look at it, and I can see that definitely it's descending on the date. This is working exactly the same way that it did with SQL Server for the order by. We have the same type of capabilities that are available. Again, this is a database. If I would go ahead and select asterisk from sh.customers and run this query. It's very obvious in this particular instance that it's not using that primary key, which is the cust ID. So if I would right click on my table and go into edit, it's going to show me information about my table, and it's showing me that the primary key field is cust ID. Now, if I look at this, obviously it's not in primary key order. In order to ensure that my data is going to come back in a particular order, I can go ahead and say order by cust last name. When I do that and execute this query, then it's going to come back in the customer's last name order. If I wanted to go ahead and add the customer first name, I could do that as well. And if it was a situation where there's some type of a date field in here, like customer effective from, I could add that as well. They all have the same date, so that's not really going to help us in our query, but I could do that in descending order as well.